Hey everyone, welcome back to another devlog. It's been a while. I've been making ton of progress on my game. Today, I'll be going over projectile spells, enemy AI, and advanced elemental system and many more flexible magical system. Plus, I'll show you all these mechanics come together to create deeper, more strategic gameplay. Let's jump in. First up, let's talk about fire projectiles. Originally, fireballs in QN were basic. They just move in a straight line and disappear when hit something. But that's so simple for what I wanted. So, I built a state machine that gives projectile multiple behavior. Now, each fire projectile can have distinct states, such as mine spells that remain stationary until an enemy steps on them, triggering an explosion or effect. Tracking spells that locks into enemy and follows them until they hit their target or lose their lock. AoE spells that detonates on impact, dealing damage in a radius around the target, and basic attack spells that traverse in a straight line damaging the first enemy they hit. This flexibility means I can easily modify fire projectiles to behave differently. Maybe some explodes on impact while other pierce through enemy before detonating. Okay, maybe not always useful, but at least it doesn't just vanish into the void like my willpower after debugging for hours. A big challenge in QN was ensuring that spells felt unique. I didn't want to hardcore behaviors for every spell, so I built a modular spell system that allows for easy customization. Each spell follows a defined life cycle but can transition through unique states. For example, a basic fireball may simply fly, hit enemy and disappear, but a chain lightning spell could fire, hit an enemy, jump to another enemy, and repeat this cycle. A meteor spell might target ground, charge up, and explode. All of the possibilities. This system makes it incredibly easy to add new spells instead of rewriting every code every time. I just define their transition and behavior dynamically. This ensures that magic in QN is not visually diverse but also mechanically deep. One of my favorite additions is Holy AoE spell. Unlike a traditional area of attack that just spawns in front of player, this one is smart. When casting, it checks if an enemy is nearby or not. If an enemy is close, then it spawns directly on them, guaranteeing a hit. If no enemies are in range, then it spawns in front of player, just in case something walks into it. This makes the spell feel more responsive and strategic rather than just another generic explosion. Appears they just stopped, not very intimidating. But now I improved their AI so that if target is lost, the projectile keeps moving forward instead of freezing in midair. This ensures that even if enemy dodges or dies, the projectile has a still purpose and it's small tweak but it makes combat feel way smoother. Next, let's talk about elements. In QN, spells aren't just visually different, they actually function differently. I've added multiple elements such as holy, dark, wind, air, thunder, fire, ice, and many more, each with a specific purpose. Spells are also categorized in their attack stats. Like, for example, ice and wind have a trap spells that triggers when the enemy steps on them, dealing one-time damage. Or we got AoE attacks such as holy AoE or dark AoE that targets and strikes the nearby enemy or a specific area. Then we got tracking spells that follows enemy to ensure a hit. and many more. On top of that, each elements come with a status effect. For example, fire burns enemy over time, or ice that freezes enemy or slows them down. Then we got thunder that stuns enemy briefly. After that we got wind attacks that knocks enemy back. Then dark and holy are opposite elements that interacts with each other. This means choosing the right spell is just as important as aiming. Since we have multiple elements, it made sense to introduce elemental weaknesses. Enemies now have resistance and vulnerabilities. For example, a darker enemy takes more damage from holy attacks but resists dark attacks, while fire-based enemies might resist burns but weak to water or ice. This forces players to think before spamming spells. You can't just throw fire at everything and expect it to work. Sometimes you just need to adjust your strategy. That's it for this devlog. We covered a powerful spell system, tracking projectiles, elemental magic, and status effect. This makes combat more exciting than ever. Next up, I'll be tackling boss fights, level design, and UI polish. Yes, I promise to work on UI this time. If you enjoy this breakdown, drop a like, subscribe, or just send me moral support in comments. Now, time to make sure my spells actually hits their target. See you in next one.